5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, good morning. Hopefully this is going to work. I'm trying something new here. I'm going to share with you in just a few moments a little video clip of me at a school speaking to students. And this Monday morning, if you're new here, morning hair, hopefully my morning hair is on point. It's been such an honor to do this. Honestly, the response that I've had is I just am so appreciative of you who have responded. Not everybody has responded in positive ways, and that's okay. But what Morning Hair is I asked a question late November after doing a bunch of research and talking to quite a few people, and they were tired of like the biased, dishonest morning shows or whatever else, that there's clearly an agenda and propaganda and all these different things. And so I posed the question on social media, if I did a morning show, what would that look like for you? What are things you want to talk about? And so I had hundreds of responses, and, we're working through some of those things and some details and some other different processes to sort through that. But one of the things that has been brought up over the weekend here multiple times, not just on social media, but to me specifically, is the plane crash and, some of the things in the blame. Somebody said they're not seeing the whole picture here. Apparently, you can't see what's just to the right of where I am right now. So hopefully this is going to work out, but I do have a short video clip here that I'm going to share with you right now. And then we'll get into some of those things in just a second here. So, I'm trying to figure out why it's not playing. It should have started playing here, but let's give it a shot.
Deej had one moment. She was against distracted driving, against texting while behind the wheel, but I believe, because I know her well, that at a stop sign, somebody texted her and she looked at it because, she stopped. Nobody's around. It's safe. And maybe she did that a couple of times. She's at a stop sign, and then not only does she look at it quick, the next time, what does she do? She sends one. Oh, but this is getting easy. It's 30 miles an hour. Oh man, I forgot. I need to text them, I'm on my way. 30 miles an hour, nothing's gonna happen. No one's around. On my way. Easy. Does that a few times and gets a little bit more comfortable with those decisions, right? We've all been there. We've all been at that stop sign. But then on the way home on a clear day, and there's a long way in front of her is a bus. And she said, I have time. I've done it before. I'm good enough to do it. Let's.
One of the most difficult things that I had to, if I was going to be transparent with students, and if I was going to be honest with myself, and if I was going to do these things to try to make the proper and positive impact in my viewpoint, I had to get really, really uncomfortably honest with what had happened. And I had come up with the stop sign moment. I had realized that, when Deej was texting, that wasn't the first time, of course, that she had done it. It was done before in the past. And I go on to talk about with the students just the impact of those small decisions, what they seem to be small, and then how comfortable we get with those decisions as we go. Like, it seems pretty harmless right now, but then it just keeps growing, and we get more comfortable and easier. It becomes seemingly easier and easier and easier until maybe it's too late. And that's the premise of how I try to look at most things. And so we have topics that people want to discuss, and they want to, immigration's been brought up. Like I said, the plane crash and all the pointing fingers there. There was another, just a terrible plane crash in Philly. There was one in Brazil over the weekend, and people start pointing fingers and blaming people. And obviously Trump is an easy one to blame right now because just so many people hate him, and whatever. That's on you. I'm not trying to say you should or shouldn't. What I am saying though is that those things don't happen in a moment. They happen before. They happen maybe years before, even, like these decisions are made, and these things happen at times, and we get comfortable, and we allow things to slack and whatever else. And so the way I really want you to know that the way I am approaching this and the way I research this is that I don't just look through one looking glass. I look for that stop sign moment. I look for, okay, in my opinion, what that stop sign moment was. Yes. And I've said, of course, I have my religious bias. I have my, political bias and all those things. But I am here as a person who deeply loves his family, deeply understands how flawed I am, and deeply cares and loves people who are able to admit that they not just admit, but really understand that they are also deeply flawed, and that we need to search for, with each other, we need to search for and destroy what really, truly evil is. And I think one of the most egregious things that anybody can say, and I've said this for years, is that evil doesn't exist. It's just something that is misunderstood. It is not. That is a ploy of evil, that, well, that person is just misunderstood and we need to understand their perspective or whatever. That's not true. So that's that perspective that I'm looking at this. I'm not looking through just one lens and one color. I'm trying to look at all the different things that, where did this go wrong? And, looking at, I'm researching immigration stuff to do a segment on that. I'm researching some of these plane incidents that are happening and things. And I mean, there's some things that go way back to decisions with the air traffic control, way back to, I believe it was 2010. I don't have it in front of me, but 2010, 2011, where some of these changes were made. And, all these things that I'm old enough to remember how people were saying, like, hey, if we do this, this is going to mean in the future that there could be really big problems and catastrophic issues. And so I'm looking at things in that perspective. And I just, with all the bombardment of bias and pushing one little small window that they want you to look at, whoever they is that you follow or whatever, I'm looking at this. I'm truly looking at this. And if you've ever looked back, or if you followed me for a while, there's a few things that I'll just flat out tell you. One is, I don't know who to trust, but I do trust in God. And the rest of it, I'm going to research. I'm going to find out what's real, what's not, to the best of my ability. And there's another saying that I have: just because I'm wrong doesn't make you right. In other words, my opinion and the way I look at things doesn't necessarily mean that your opinion and your view is the only way and that anything can be done. And that, I guess, ultimately is what I'm saying is that I understand that there's my bias, my opinion, and that you have your opinion, but where can we come together at the points that are factual and that are truth, and then move forward from there. And I think that's just something that's really being missed. And I wanted to rant and ramble about that a little bit, just simply because I try not to look at things through just my bias. I try to say, okay, here's my bias. Now look at things around my bias and what do I find, what is true, and things like that. So where's that stop sign moment? Just something to think about. And we're going to unpack a lot of stuff. I need you to hammer the like button if you would. I know people have told me they're embarrassed to do that because their tribe that they've been in for so long is got, that they're just embarrassed by me. I mean, I've literally received those messages, many of them, that they're embarrassed that people would publicly see that they're liking my videos and so on. And so I guess there's my point, right? That's how disgusting some of these tribal things are. And so I appreciate that if you do that. Go over to YouTube. Nobody knows. Go to Matt Logan Official on YouTube. Nobody knows who hammers the like button over there. YouTube is by far the smallest, spot, social media, whatever you want to say that I have. But at any rate, show some support for people who are willing to stand up and fight. I mean, truly, we do need that. And if it's not me, do it with someone else. I mean, truly, it's important in people's work that is done and things like this, especially when we don't do it for any dollars. A lot of people do it for dollars. I'll see you tomorrow.
So it's done. It's done.